be with you on that though. Daylight savings is dumb.
It is stupid, okay? I'm with you, but we've already gone through it. So when people in Europe are like, "Oh yeah, like we do it, we just do it later," I'm like, just get with the program. Shit or get off the pot.
All it takes is an hour to be not fuck Europe time? Is just 1 hour?
It actually is. People are like, well, this is the best week of the NLSS, or 2 weeks of the NLSS, because it's on at like 10 p.m. Europe time or something.
Fuck Europe, basically.
Yeah, fuck Europe.
Basically,
what's on the docket today?
Fuck Europe. And fuck Boston as well.
Are you stuck? You just like stuck inside?
Yeah, I'm stuck right now. I'm waiting for the plow guy to show up. He was supposed to be here last night, and he's still not here. So my driveway is jam-packed full of snowy goodness, and it's so deep that I don't think I could dig it out in a reasonable amount of time until the plow guy hits it. Yeah, no, I need to get
until the plow guy hits it.
The concept of a plow guy makes no sense to me.
Well, because of where you live, right?
Yeah, we don't even have plows.
You don't understand what snow is because you live in Texas?
Just like the plow guy. I didn't know you needed a dedicated guy to be the plow man.
Well, usually like the city just does it, but I don't know. Nick lives in Ayn Rand's like personal utopia where it's every man for himself, apparently. Man, I guess
or
so.
The city could just take care of it.
Well, I mean, that's one.
It would really help if I lived in a city. The most narrow worldview, you guys.
What are you talking about? This is the way it works, like, almost everywhere that I've ever heard of in my life. We went to buy groceries last night because we're like, we have no food and life is hell. So we went to the grocery store, and the lady in front of us looked like a normal lady, right? She was like, hey, just...
I don't like how you're setting this
Well, because what happens afterwards is abnormal. So the grocery store we go to has a rewards program that I need to set up very, very simply in order for you to understand why what she did is basically a war crime. So if you have a loyalty card with the grocery store, you get cheaper goods. Like you get the sale price on goods. If you don't, if you go, I don't really want the card, then you get the normal price on goods. So it ends up saving you maybe like $10 a grocery trip to have this card. And you collect points. And the points are basically worthless, but sometimes there's sales that are like, hey, for, if you give us 1,000 points, then this loaf of bread is free instead of it costing you like $1.99 or something like that. Long story short, we're waiting in line, and then this lady in front of us looks like a normal lady. And she goes, hey, I forgot my card, but I like really want to get the sale prices. Can I borrow yours? And I was like, that sounds like a little, like it sounds good, but like a little suspicious. So I was just like, we're fine. Basically not my problem that you forgot your card.
You just said no, we're fine?
Which is selfish. So I recognize that, but then she's like, I would really like to get the sale price on the card. And I was like, okay, explain this to me one more time. And she explained it, and I was like, so you're just going to take our card, you're going to give it to that lady, and then you're going to get the sale price, then you're going to give us back the card. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, you know what? I misinterpreted you at first, that sounds fine. So I gave her the card. She's up there getting her shit scanned. And then the cashier, as they do with this card, goes like, hey, she scans like some potatoes. And she goes, do you want to use your points for these potatoes?
No.
The implication being, if you use like 1,000 points, you're going to get $1 off these potatoes. She thinks about it, and I'm looking at her. I'm looking right into
There's no thinking in
the
this
window of her soul. She thinks about it. And I was just like, maybe she's running on autopilot. And she's used to saying yes. She goes, no. And I was like, yeah, you're fucking right, no. Those are our points. We're going to use those in like 10 years to, go see a Canucks game or something. And then, so I'm like, this lady's pretty good, right? Like 2 minutes later, she's scanning like a loaf of bread. And then the lady goes, so you want to use your points on the bread? And she goes, well, how much would it save? And the cashier goes, oh, it'll be like $1 off. And she goes, yeah, use the points. And I was like, what world is this? You actually, if you had done it in the heat of the moment and then later been like, no, I apologize, and that's one thing, you thought about the question and became a worse person later. It actually blew me away in terms of like my faith in humanity.
What did you say to her?
I didn't say anything. So I was like, I'm not gonna fight this fucking...
Were you stunned?
I was stunned is one way to put it. I never expected in a million years she would say yes to the second one after saying no to the first one and doing the right thing.
I'm a very quiet person. I let a lot of things slide. I don't think I could let that slide.
So where I've fallen on that is that first, this lady's a fucking shithead.
She knew she had you.
Yeah, she's a total bitch. And she is actually going to cause me to lose faith in humanity. So this is why when people are like, hey, you know, like somebody with smells like a freaking 40 of Old English says hi to you on the street, why don't you respond to them, you asshole? You're being so judgmental. This is why this doesn't happen, okay? And the second thing that I want to point out is that this lady has now made me into a bad person. Because after that, she had like a 15-minute negotiation with the cashier. Because there's now, you have to pay 5 cents for plastic bags here. So she was like, you know, I'd really like some bags, but I don't want to pay for them. And then the cashier was like...
What's the matter with this?
I don't know, she's crazy,
awful.
dude. And then the cashier was like, oh yeah, you don't have to pay for plastic bags if you just buy...
We'll just take it off the card.
Well, if you just buy those reusable bags over there, then you don't have to pay for plastic bags. She's like, how much are the reusable bags? And she's like, well, 99 cents. She's like, I don't think you're understanding me. I would really like some bags, but I don't want to pay for them. This lady was crazy. And I would feel worse about it if her cart was like, you know, 4 candy bars and like cigarettes or something like that. But she had like food for a family in her cart that she paid for on a credit card. So I don't understand. This lady's, she's posted on R Frugal. She's probably like a fucking mod over there. You know, just here's a life pro tip for you. You want to save like $8 on your groceries? Just ask someone else for the card out of the goodness of their heart, and then use their points to get a cheap loaf of bread. Anyway, that's my grocery story, and I've lost all faith in humanity. If I ever see her again, I will say that when I looked at her, she didn't look like a hobo. But I was like...
Did she look guilty?
She looked like something was just not quite right. I was like, this lady's not... She's not fully put together. I'm not saying that she wasn't, you know, like wearing her best nightclub attire. I'm just saying... I was trying to pinpoint it from a sartorial standpoint. I was like, what's wrong with this picture right here? Anyway, so check it out, lady. Your scam loophole's been closed. We've just outed you. So, you picked the wrong person to try to fuck over once. Except you got away with it, but, you know, apart from that.
You think she did it again the next day to someone else?
I don't even understand what the deal is. She's actually, like... She has money. She's just a jerk.
What if you weren't the first person?
I guarantee I was not the first person. Did she give you the rewards card back after? Yeah. The rewards card is not a credit card. It's literally just like it's a loyalty card.
When you took it back from her, I assume you looked her in the eye.
Well, she, you know, this isn't her first rodeo. As soon as she put all of her groceries on the thing and then had, like, the first one get scanned and the card get scanned, she gave me the card back. Before, you know, point gate.
Oh, before the offense took place.
Yeah, exactly. I was more, first off, small price to pay to learn a lesson is always my philosophy here. Secondly, anything that gives me more ammunition to be a justifiable jerk in the future is okay. Thirdly, the point value of what we lost was probably like $1.50. So, in the end, not a huge deal at all. But man, I was like, what it illuminated for me is, if you make a mistake, people make mistakes, right? In the heat of the moment, a crime of passion, you're like, yeah, I'll use the points. And then for the next one, you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, like I forgot, these are my points, is that okay? And I'd be like, yeah, you know, no problem. To do the right thing on the first one, and then ask how much it's gonna save, and do the wrong thing on the second one, is mind-blowing to me. I think she got, I was very close to being like, we're gonna do this. But again, like, it always comes down to, like, not just, like, have I been wronged, but is the amount that I've been wronged worth the hassle of what's about to happen? I was on, like, the borderline, and I was jet lagged. So I was like, you know what? You got me today. I've made myself vulnerable, and for that, I think I deserve a little slap on the wrist for, you know, forgetting that all people are scum. So, you know what? You've taught me a valuable lesson. I appreciate that. Go fuck yourself. I actually hope you get in a car crash and die.
It's funny, too, because like you said, it is only, like, $1. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's an insignificant amount, but it's just
you want her to die over $1?
It's
Yes.
not the dollar. Like, I understand.
She deliberately stole the dollar.
Yes.
So, yes, I do want her to die.
It's like, she didn't just... It's like she walked up and was like, hey, could you show me your wallet? And like, you just like, you know, show her a wallet, and she just takes $1 out and gave it back.
Yeah.
Like, it's so absurd, the level of how she did that.
If somebody asked you, could I see your wallet, would you hand it to
There's
them?
zero chance, especially
No,
today.
you didn't even hand it to her. It's like you just, you know, wanted to show it. And then
And she, with her eyes, removed it psychically.
I wouldn't put it past her, man. This lady's capable of, like, anything here. So, yeah, if you wanted, like, my vote for biggest piece of shit on the planet, like, there's a lady in Vancouver probably lives in a home value at, like, $1.8 million that not too stoked about right now.
What if she was the one that sang that Vancouver song?
She wasn't.
You
Honestly,
know that.
if she was, then she deserved it because we've gotten a lot of mileage out of that. So I can't really be too mad.
Royalties at that point.
And the other thing was, I was like, well, we probably lost like $1.50, but I'm gonna get some mileage out of this tomorrow. Is it worth it? Because we're gonna have a post on the NLSS Circle Jerk subreddit that's like, you know, warning, if you're in the Vancouver area, this individual's going around trying to use your points card, and then it's the picture of Mathis with his.
Except it's not gonna say warning. It's gonna say be advised.
Oh, there you go, even better.
But it was a good PAX. I think we had a lot of fun.
It was a fun time.
Well, we had some experiences though that if you were on Twitter, you definitely saw. Went to a lovely bar that tricked us into thinking it was going to be a reasonable place to eat at.
It was extremely loud.
It was so. It wasn't just like people like. I don't think they understand how loud it was when we say
they
it was
trick you?
loud.
Yeah, everybody goes. Well, I mean, they tricked us because like, they didn't really trick us.
We ordered our food before the music started.
Yes,
is
exactly.
what I mean.
Oh, it was just an accident then.
But then like, people are like, they're looking at me. Like, oh, I hate having fun at this place. I don't hate having fun. At this place, like, everybody can't talk to the person next to them because the music is so loud, you have to shout over top of the music. And we're on the opposite side of the bar from where the music is happening. And they were really bad. And it was really cold. I didn't just
You looked freezing in that picture.
I didn't just
Well, we
put
were right next
put
to
on
the
my
door.
coat to then be like, yo, I hate parties. It was actually like, it's a Sunday afternoon, and then this guy on the mic is going fucking apeshit on like
He's at a Journey tribute concert. Or something.
like the worst version of like "Say My Name" by Destiny's Child. They did the thing, you know, like at the end of like Old School where they have the wedding singer who comes out and he sings like Total Eclipse of the Heart, but he puts like fucking in it. You know, once upon a time I was falling in love, now I'm fucking falling apart. I think he was also in like Anchorman 2 or something, I can't remember, but it was like that for 2 hours, basically. It was hell.
And well, the worst part was the sound mixing was the worst thing that has ever existed. Like, I don't know if they had a mixer or they were doing it themselves, but they didn't know how to do it. So when they started playing, the keyboard was too loud. The only thing we could hear was the keyboard. Like, we didn't.
They
I
probably
don't
just
think
didn't have a sound guy. They probably were on the band.
That's what I imagined because, like, for the first two songs, it was like, oh, this is a solo keyboardist playing, and I can maybe hear a guy in the background. I guess maybe he's in the audience singing. No, they had two singers. I didn't even know they had a female singer that they just never fixed her mic. She was literally quiet the entire time. We couldn't hear her from where we were standing or where we were sitting.
People are like, why
do you
did
want to name the band so we can?
Oh, we don't know who it
here?
is. Like,
Yeah, I have no
okay.
idea.
nobody is ever gonna know who they were. That's the take-home message here.
Their genius idea, because they realized the keyboard was too loud two songs in, their genius
Turn
idea
everything
was,
else up.
let's turn the singers
Yeah.
up. And then they turn it up, and the guy hits this, like, you know, loud high note that just he holds for like 4 seconds, and it was like someone was just screaming in your ear
Did
directly.
he rattle your bones?
It was horrible. Like, I was covering my ears, people were covering their ears. It was just too loud.
I went to this place across the street, like, just before we got in, because I was like, this place is fucking, like, kind of loud and, like, crazy busy for a Sunday. And the place across the street was like, yeah, you know, you feel free to wait in the front of the restaurant. And I was like, well, how long do you think it'll be? And they're like, well, we just sat. Our only other, like, table is full of a party of 8 that just came in, so it might be like 45 minutes to 2 hours. Maybe we'll just try our luck at the place we're already at. Thanks, though, for your time. And then they always throw in something. I don't know, like, if there's Boston locals in chat, maybe you can illuminate why this is the case. But they always throw in something at the end to make you feel bad about yourself. They go, suit yourself. And what do you mean suit myself? I'm gonna go suit myself. You're in the service industry. I'm not saying you should be like, oh yes sir, well let me kick these people off their table and get you in. I've never met you, but they're always like, when we went to that place that Rob called, and they're like, yeah, it's probably like a 5-minute wait for a table that size. And we walked there, and the dude was like, I don't know who you talk to because we don't take reservations. And we're like, well, we didn't make a reservation. She just lied to us, and now we're wondering why she would do that unless she's a mean person. And the guy was like, yeah, you know, busy weekend. Why don't you just say sorry, you fucking dicks? Like, everyone in Boston in the service industry is, like, under this illusion that if you say sorry, like, it awakens an ancient curse that means, like, the other person just fucked you up the ass. Like, I would never apologize, man.
Look, this is your fucking job. I'm sorry, but you gotta serve us. Like, what are we paying you for? It's not like we weren't ordering
the
things, we were
angry
ordering
people
food.
in Boston. Like that incident with Josh and the waitress and like throwing pennies at her. Like, what the fuck's happening?
Well, they're like, the kitchen closes first. Well, we sat down. They actually, like, gave us the menu, and they're like, kitchen closes in, like, 15 minutes. We ordered. That was not a problem. It was after that, when we were sitting down and eating the food. She's like, you know, really...
So you should buy it, but you shouldn't get time to eat.
Well, yeah, exactly. She's like, well, I didn't expect you guys to actually eat the food that you ordered.
I don't know. People in Boston they just don't want money. They don't want you to be there drinking and eating. It blows my mind.
The people that we talked to in Boston, totally cool. Parts of the city itself, I really liked. It was really just the service industry. Like, everybody we talked to was like, why are people so rude, like, all the time?
Maybe they universally detest that there's a con in town. Like
That I could understand, actually. But I really did feel like, you know, when... You know, in a movie where, like, people go to a biker bar, and they walk in, and, like, everybody just looks at them because they're wearing, like, a button-up shirt? That's what I felt like every place I went into. But then, I think I mentioned this in an Isaac episode, but I'm not sure if it's gone up yet. But then, I reap what you sow, or you reap what you sow, because we were in Minnesota, and trapped on our layover, and our server was so nice that I was like, what's this lady hiding? Like, what's her game? It's like, hey,
no
lady...
winning with you.
Lady, we're fine. Don't try to upsell us, okay? We know how to order. Don't be ridiculous. You got a whole menu. You don't need to tell us to try the something. That's what the words in the menu are for. Your job's done for you. So
on the last night we were there, when Ryan and Kate went to this bar to go meet with some people, it was me, Malf, Rob, and a couple other guys. And so I'm gonna be completely fair. We weren't being quiet.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say we were being loud. But we were, you know, having some drinks, playing some board games, having a good time. So, obviously, we're making a little bit of noise. But this guy, so he, I think it's like 11:30, maybe like 12 at this point. And Rumble had just ordered a pizza. And he went down to go get the pizza. So we thought it was him coming back upstairs to bring the pizza to us. And no, it's this guy in a security vest.
Okay,
and to describe how he looked, he essentially looked like everyone's dad at age 40.
Okay, yeah.
He was the most dad person that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Did he say keep it down, kids?
Essentially. Well, he was very angry. He was very stern, and he didn't knock. He walked in. He straight up just walked in. Which kind of scared, I forget who, someone's at the door, and it scared them because there's some guy walking in that we don't know. Which, you know, I get he's coming in for noise complaints, but I think, am I unreasonable to say that you could at least knock?
You should still knock, probably, yeah, not just walk in.
Like, that's a little rude.
What if you're having an orgy?
Or, like, what if someone, like, freaks out? I don't know. It's just knock on the door. This is the
It's
thing
an
is that
escalation, I think, is...
Yeah. He wanted trouble because he wanted us out. There was only, like, I think 6 of us there at that point, and we had completely quiet. We weren't making any noise anymore. We were just playing the board game, and it had become very chill, because we went from, like, 10 people to 6 people. So the noise level went down significantly. And he comes in, and first he accuses us of smoking in the room, which we definitely didn't do.
Correct.
Like, Rob and Rumble are the two who smoke, and they both very respectfully go outside every time they smoke. Rob can confirm that for you. But what happened, this was really weird, and this is why there was a smoking complaint in the first place, is when Rob went outside to smoke, the vents turned on, the heater turned on, and cigarette smoke just shot through all the vents.
Oh, that's so shitty.
And we were like, what is happening? Like, do the vents have like an intake in the front porch or something? We were like, that's weird, but then the vents turned off and the smoke went away, and I was like, whatever. So he accuses us of smoking. We're like, no, we're not. And then he's like, well, we've gotten a lot of complaints about noise the past 2 days, last night as well. And immediately that's where I was like, did you give us a warning?
Yeah, why didn't you come last night is part of it for sure.
Yeah, like, you know, you give us a call and be like, hey, you're being too loud, keep it down. And, you know, we're reasonable people. I'm sure we could do that, right? And like, we're like, hey, like, you know, this is our last night here. We can keep it down. We can be quiet, you know. I want to say goodbye to our friends. And he was just like, look, last thing I wanted to do was come all the way down here, so you're just gonna have to leave.
Meanwhile, when he got the call at home, though, he's like, I've been waiting for this moment for my whole life.
All the way down here?
Yeah, I guess he was the landlord or something. I don't know who he was. He was either the landlord. Well, no, yeah, he had keys to like the downstairs because he went to like an office or something. So he was definitely the landlord, I guess. And yeah, he kicked everyone. He kicked all of us out of the Airbnb and out into the cold with the pizzas. We had 3 fresh pizzas out in like the 5-degree weather, and we kind of just ate them out in the front porch and left.
He kicked everyone out, including the people that were paying to stay there?
No, he allowed. Well, Malf was the only one who was staying there, so he let Malf stay, of course. But he just kicked us out.
Maybe Malf was the one who complained? See, that's a wrinkle I had not considered.
Oh, no, we actually accused you of doing that. When we were leaving, we're like, wonder if Ryan called the guy.
It's like, geez, I just want to finally get some fucking sleep. Could
But
you
yeah,
send
that
your
was-
dadliest security guard down to this address?
He was the most dad.
The problem is, and this is not fair, but after the first night, I was like, we're gonna get noise complaints. We got no noise complaint, and I was like, all right, guess we're all good. We can be as loud as we want. Then the dude comes in on like day 4, and it's like, it's been 4 days of hell. Well, if you just, I was on your side on night 1. We're still in the wrong for being noisy, I admit. It's just a bunch of thugs on the 2nd floor. They're talking about doing 2 attack damage on, turn 4 with their Mecha Godzillas. I don't know what that means. It sounds like they're on some kind of drugs.
We got our big esports victory. That happened.
Yeah! Oh, I totally forgot to mention that. But like on the first day, we were just kind of walking around the convention center, like, what should we do? And there's an Overcooked station, and they're like the top 4-player Overcooked prize wins a set of Razer headsets for all the competitors at the end of the day. So we're like, well, Cade and I have played a bunch of Overcooked. We roped Austin and Matheson, and then after a couple of practice runs, we just like kicked the shit out of the score and won. So we got these Razer headsets. I felt bad as well because like it's probably okay to tell this story because it's funny. But then Kate was like, there were people trying to beat us. And this reflects more poorly on Dan than on Kate, which is great.
Oh, this story.
Yeah,
Okay.
there were people that as soon as we got
I just remembered.
as soon as we got off of the station and we got the high score, the people that we beat were like, okay, we're gonna get back on. They had like 45 minutes to get the next highest score, like to try to beat our score to win the headset. And in the end, obviously, it didn't work out. I mean, it's hard to compete with perfection, but they were very nice and gracious about it. But we were waiting, and there were like 10 minutes left before the time limit was up, and Kate was like, Dan, you should go mess with them. And
No, I didn't say, Dan, you should go mess with them. Dan said, hey, should I go mess with them so that they don't get a
Yeah, no,
score?
that
And
is
then-
true.
Okay,
and then-
okay.
And then you, Ryan, was like, no, Dan, no. And then I'm like, yeah, Dan, do it, because I thought he won't do it. And
Oh,
he's like,
that's-
all right. And then he got that little smirk on his face that we all know of. And then he went along. And then he actually poked the dude who was playing the game. He's like, yo, so what is this game about? So like, what platform is this game coming out?
yeah,
And then we ran away from the spot. We were like, we cannot be discovered anymore.
eventually that guy was like, oh, we're like playing for a high score right now, right? And then Dan just still like kept hanging out, and he was like trying to put himself in his peripheral vision just to mess with him. That guy, he's a wild dude.
Don't ever tell Dan to do something if you don't think he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. You can tell him not to do it, and he'll still do it. So we were at a bar the first night, and Dan, there was like a singer, and like he had a guitar, and he was doing some songs. And Dan was like, "You think if I go ask him to play Ocean Man, he'd play it?" And I was like, "Dan, don't. Just tell him he's not gonna know Ocean Man." Sure enough, he goes up there, like goes up to the guy, starts talking to him. He then points at our table. And then I know, like, oh fuck, here we go. And the guy like has this like disgusted look on his face, like, what did you just ask me? And Dan just keeps pointing at our table and then walks back to us and goes, yeah, he didn't know it. I was like, what
But
is
he is angry at you now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, also, didn't he make our server be angry at us and then the server left?
No, I mean, again, these stories really put some holes in our earlier sentiment. But Dan was like, after the waitress cashed out, Dan was like, do you guys want another round? And then,
Yeah, but she deserved it. This one.
I don't know if anyone deserves that, but he walked back to like the back of house and then was like, hey, we're trying to get like another drink. Any chance you can send our server back here? And then she had like already cashed out for the night.
Oh God.
And then the dude came back and he was like, yeah, she's not gonna do that. I'm like, you know what? That seems just about fair, I think.
No, okay, that's not how it exactly went down. You said, "Hey, we would like some drink. Do you think you could serve us?" And then he was basically like a bouncer. I don't know. He wasn't the one that was serving. He said like, "Yeah, you know what? Let me look into that." And then he went away, and then Dan got that little smirk again, saying like, "I got you guys." And then we were like, "Oh shit, Dan got it." And then I think like he talked to the server. I think I saw him talking to the server, and then the server's like, no, like they cashed out. So he's like, oh yeah, sorry guys, you know, like your server checked out, so we can't serve you anymore. And then Dan was like, oh okay. And then like that smile again. It was that smirk.
We were evangelizing Dunk Lords to like everybody who would.
The name sounds like we would be playing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's from the programmer of Spelunky, not the designer, I think, but the programmer. And it's basically like a 2-on-2 NBA Jam, but you also like earn money every quarter, and then you use that money to buy items that can augment your abilities. As of yet, no online multiplayer, but we like lined up twice for that, and the second time was great. Also, you weren't there, but we might have told you the story.
I think I heard it, but yeah, tell it again.
So like me and Mike and Rob were like, we should line up and play Dunk Lords again, because that game was dope. And then we did, and we got seated, but it was just me, Mike, and Austin. Everyone else was like, me, Mike, and Rob, and everyone else was having a conversation. And then out of the corner, we hear like, hey, you guys got room for a fourth? And then a mother picks up the controller and hands it to like her 2-year-old child.
Oh.
And this is now Mike's teammate. And we had absolutely zero mercy on them. Mike is mouth, by the way. Yeah, we had zero mercy on them. We went ape shit on them, and then it took us like 10 minutes to get the game started because the kid was so young. Like he kept hitting B instead of A, so they would always like we'd select the map and then we'd select all our characters and then get kicked out to the menu screen again.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, this is weird. Is there a bug here or something? What's going on? Nope, there was no bug. He was just hitting B over and over. And yeah, we went absolutely apeshit on them. It was gorgeous. And it wasn't just like we were going hard on their team. It was actually like we'd score a dunk, and then they'd start going to like the other side of the court, drop the beehives on their heads, and then just like uppercut them in the face so they drop the ball, grab the ball, dunk it again, just rinse and repeat over and over. It was beautiful. Also, you motherfuckers, Rob was like, well, if I got Brussels sprouts, will you eat them? And I was like, yeah, I'll eat some. And I ate some, and I was like, these are good for the rest of the fucking night that we had the Brussels sprouts. Everyone's like, what smells like farts? And they'd be like, check out this poisonous food product I have in the refrigerator. Ooh! I really resented that. I was like,
why did you get Brussels sprouts?
I didn't get Brussels sprouts. Robert got Brussels sprouts. But he just,
so weird.
he like lumped me in as an accomplice for some reason. I don't understand why.
Hey, I said they smell fine. All right.
They were delicious, but I didn't want to eat them because everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, enjoying the fart sprouts, huh?" Like
It's middle school back again.
it really was.
Oh, look at Ryan eating fart bomb.
Were you not there with Ryan at the time, Kate, or you were just not like paying attention? or
No,
something?
at the same time, Ryan was telling me about this half bat, half boy story.
I was talking about Bat Boy.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is bad boy? And I thought I heard it as a bad boy, like it's a bad boy.
Very good.
So I'm
bad
like,
boy.
oh, who's a bad boy? I'm like, oh, okay. And then Ryan showed me. He's like, okay, let me give you the bad boy. I'm like, okay, the news about a bad boy. I'm like, ooh. And then he showed me a picture, and then this picture of like a freaking Dracula looking like some weird ass face, black and white picture. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then like, that's a bad boy? And Ryan's like, yeah, that's a bad boy. I'm like, wait, that looks like a bat. And then Ryan's like, yeah, a bad boy. I'm like, oh, like See, I got rattled by started with a bad boy turning into a bat boy. I was like, oh my god, the world is so weird. And then that was the time when she used our points that I couldn't even catch it.
She knew her moment and she struck.
Was it famous? Bad boy?
Bad boy?
Yeah.
You're still saying bad boy. And
No, I'm saying bat boy.
Okay.
But you did say bad boy. They made a fake news about bad boy. I'm like, oh.
I was
As a
pissed,
Twitch
Kate,
streamer, you need to do that.
when we were flying Delta and like they
Delta
they
me.
they had no way. We were getting mad Delta meat. We waited in line for like an hour. Well, so we landed in Minneapolis and we missed the flight. And it's not Delta's fault, but in a way, you're kind of like it's Delta's fault. They're like, oh, we had bad weather coming out of Detroit, so your inbound plane couldn't get there in time to fly. And I was like, why didn't they just fly anyway? You know, I don't care if that plane crashes. Just get it here. I care if my plane crashes. So they were like, well, it's not really our fault, but here's the deal. We're pretty good people, so we'll give you like this number that you can call, and then this number gives you like a discount hotel room. So then we called it, and then they were like, yeah, all the rooms are gone. So we just had to book a hotel room at normal price. So I was like, you know what? They did give us the option to sleep in the airport for free. So it is on us to spend like $200, and I decided that would be a reasonable idea to actually get a good night's sleep before flying out again. But then when we were on the airplane and the flight attendant got on and she was like, I'll be coming around to your seats to offer you sign up for the new Delta Gold member card. It gives you free access to the lounge and blah, blah. And she talked for like 8 minutes and, you know, she's talking and I'm trying to watch Office Christmas Party. It's not very good, but that just means that I'm going to be looking at this stupid screen of TJ Miller looking like a fucking moron for another 8 minutes that I don't need to. And, oh, well, so it's an excellent deal, as you can see. And like, it's quite clearly a script written by like the credit card corporation. And I was like, I'm going to fucking riot. Like, I'm taking this whole plane down. Yesterday, our like Blue Apron thing was coming. And the dude texted Kate and was like, I'm downstairs, can you meet me? And I went downstairs and he wasn't there. So I texted him and I was like, you know, what the heck, buddy? I'm downstairs. Where are you? And he said, 5 minutes. I said, well, maybe you should say, like, I'm on my way, meet me downstairs, instead of I'm downstairs, meet me. So I then I went back up. And then he texted me and was like, hey, now I'm downstairs. And I was like, you're going to wait.
Yeah, try that again.
I was like,
You're not. I'm giving it 5 minutes.
Very leisurely going to like put on my shoes and then get in the elevator and then, oh, is that you? Is that you? And then, yeah. The first night at PAX, Mike said, give me your spiciest wings. And then
Lord.
The waitress was like, we only make one kind. He's like, sure, I'll take those.
See what happened to Cobalt?
What? Oh, with the spicy wing
He
challenge
ate
or
the
something.
spiciest wings they had, and he was like dying.
Yeah, that was.
I felt bad for him.
I can understand that. Mike said, listen here, you bitch. Yeah, I mean, it's like all of our stories have this same theme right now of like, man, I don't understand why people in Boston are assholes. I mean, all we were doing is trying to like enjoy a nice meal, and they were being like a little rude to us. I mean, yeah, someone took off their pants and like pissed on the floor, but like you're in the service industry.
Sorry.
Why? Well, here's one thing for you. Why does Mike
I
keep
guess I'll
saying?
just shut up then, Nick.
Mike keeps saying Ryan sharted in chat.
Yeah, what does that mean?
This guy's trying to
Shit
spread a rumor that I shit my pants when I farted.
Oh,
I don't think that's true.
that part?
I have
part?
a particularly stinky flatus, especially after, you know, a few days of the convention.
That part was
But
going nowhere, man.
it's not
It
my
like
fault.
lived with us.
You know,
Is
in
it true
that,
you shit your pants?
in that cold weather, the fart just doesn't go anywhere. Like,
He didn't poop. Ryan did not poop his pants.
I did not
can
poop my
confirm.
pants.
But the smell, you know, after you fart, even if it's stinky, after, you know, you give him like 5 minutes, it basically dissipates. But this fart actually lived with us for at least 2 hours.
Can you name it?
I wish I could not, you know, do that, but it had to be released. Long ago, we were hanging out in Guelph, Ontario, and I went like,
Well,
I was like, I want you to give me your spiciest wings. And the guy was like, all right.
you cannot handle
then-
my spiciest wings.
He brought them out, and I ate them. And I'm not the best with spicy food, but I can relatively handle it. And I was like, it's not that spicy. Like, can you guys do anything hotter? And he's like, well, you know, we make our own hot sauce. We could just use, like, the pepper extract from that and like put it on the wings. And I was like, yeah, dude,
Oh,
do
no.
that. And then he came
Capsaicin
out with it.
Yeah, I think so.
It was actually like toxic, like mustard
Yeah.
gas. Like as soon as it touched the table, I was like, this is a horrible mistake.
Capsaicin extract is literally like.
It wasn't.
thing
I don't think
that
it was
is hot.
capsaicin extract. It was like it was just like really, really hot pepper paste. I saw a documentary about this guy who had like AIDS, and he's like, my feet hurt so much. It's like 9 out of 10 pain. And the doctor just took like some capsaicin. He had on like 8 pairs of gloves, but he put like the capsaicin paste and just put it right on the dude's feet, and he was like, oh. It hurts so bad. And then like an hour later, he was like, I feel great. Like this is the least pain I've been in like years.
Nice.
That's amazing. Is that where we're
crazy.
at with medicine? That we're like, you know, fuck it, dude. Just put hot sauce on it. See if it works. Isn't that like, there's like a huge breakthrough in like Parkinson's research? Because they have all these videos of people that are like basically non-functional, and then they smoke weed and they're like just back to normal function. Like
It works most of the time.
that's the next step in medicine, is just try every combination of every substance on every disease. You know, we've had our chance to cure like muscular dystrophy. Next step, I don't know. Let's start with the cheeses. Blue cheese, Stilton, Munster. Just give it a shot. Rub it on the affected area. Wait 6 months, see what happens.
Also, fan death is real, man.
Kate, you don't want to go down this road. I assure you.
I think we've had at least 2 or 3 debates about that on the
They
show.
never end well. I have my position on fan death, and it's taking everything in my power to not be snarkier than that in my description. And you have your position on fan death. It's all right.
What is fan death?
Austin, you don't
Oh, I
want to
guess we're
know,
going
man.
I haven't been on one of those shows.
All right, well, might as well jump in with both feet. Kate, you want to take it away?
Okay, so I also want to add before I start, there's this like Google, but it's Google for Korean, and it's called Naver, Naver. And there was an article recently about the fan death again.
Korea is the only country in
was
the
not
world
like
that believes in
1990.
it, though.
It's like it happened again in 2017. So
But
basically,
why
the
does it?
story-
Why are there only cases of it in Korea reported on
don't
Korean
know,
Google?
man.
Like,
Korea got cursed by fan.
What
Fan
is it
god
for the people
angered
that
by
don't know?
the Koreans.
I gotta know what it is.
So
I don't know if it's like a
basically-
fan of a person or just a fan.
No, okay. So like if you're a Korean, everyone knows there was a dude. Like the story, it started with a dude who's drunk, and he was renting out this like a cubicle, kind of like a really small hotel, like Asian small hotel. It wasn't like hotel, and it was really really hot. And he didn't open any windows, and those small cubicle hotels, they don't even have like a little gap in between the doors, like even the entrance door, because I guess they get, I don't know, like it's made really shitty basically. And he drank a lot of alcohol and turned on the, you know, those like fan that just like cools you off. And he fell asleep with it, and then he was later found dead. So the news reported that if you do not circulate the air, and if you're in like a completely room that is basically sealed off, and you turn on the fan long enough, and it's really hot, like the room itself is really hot, then you will die. So when you turn on the fan, like make sure to open up a window, open up like a door, so that actually the air flows, or you will die. And everyone believes it.
yeah, it couldn't be the alcohol or the heat or, you know,
So what's the
a lifetime
scientific
of bad
reasoning?
choices.
The scientific reasoning is that the fan chops up the air molecules in a way
That's-
that makes them no longer
no,
breathable.
That's
That
not
one
it,
is
no.
like a niche belief that
Oh,
I cherry pick to make my point stronger.
Okay, so fan death is like a mystery. Then it's not like a thing. Like
No,
so they
no.
haven't studied
It
it
is
then
all.
to fi-
It is the thing.
I
It's
mean,
a
I
thing
put my
in-
fan on every night.
It's a thing in
Yeah, me
Korea. Like when you buy a fan in Korea, they have like a timer on them that is
Oh.
like, you know, don't leave it running for longer than this or it could actually kill you.
I don't know,
believed
man.
it, man.
I think
believed it
I'm
so
up.
well.
I'm up to like. I did it. Up to like 20 years now of sleeping with a fan on.
Yeah.
In a room. I had to, mathematically,
You're
I would've
asking
been-
for trouble. You might
Does
die.
it-
So, but then, like the scientific quotation, the scientific theory is that the room was really hot, so he was gonna die anyway. So with like alcohol, like of all the water and whatnot. But then the fan basically worked it as like a oven, so like it was blowing through the hot air towards him, and there was no cool air coming in from the outside. So it just basically sped up the process of basically inevitably dying.
Yeah, there's been
moments
some
of
other
it,
really weird
so.
situations where like they found a dude in like a hotel room and like a bottle of empty pills next to him, and the fan
Oh
is
my
on,
god!
and
I
you're
hate
like,
you.
well, the fan must have
Dude.
sucked up the pills and then shot them into the dude's mouth, and then
Oh my god! Like,
find me an article from like a reputable non-Korean source that
dude, I
supports
cannot
fan
do that
death.
because only Korean news media deals with this kind of stuff.
Doesn't that raise some questions?
They somehow Koreans anger the fan god, and fan god only punishes Korean people. I have the cursed blood. Cannot turn on the fan for more than 6 hours straight, or I might die. Oh, but then the air conditioner, you can turn that on 24 hours, no problem.
Yeah. Do they have blood type equals personality belief in South Korea?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's why it was always written in the Street Fighter character bios, because I guess that's just like a Japanese thing as well.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe
that's
correct.
true.
Should be able to like send a message to the person you're donating blood to. Be like, hey, greetings from Germany, a long-time patient, first-time donator.
Dude, that's a Black Mirror episode there, is like Uber for blood and organ donations. You're like, oh, I need a kidney. You're like, well, there's one kidney 300 kilometers away from you. Like the other, I definitely have told this before, but like Korea is like so modern of a country. And then the first time I gave blood after I came back, they like took me into a back room and showed me a map. And they're like, have you ever been to like this region? And I was like, well, yeah, you land here, and I taught here, so I had to take an airplane. And they're like, well, were you outside? Like, no, that seems like it would have been worse for my health than whatever was waiting for me in that area. So I also sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe I actually am like a libertarian at heart. Because, like, when I'm at the blood donation clinic, or at least the last times I've been, I'm like a 180-pound dude. I've given blood a lot. So usually, like, I grab a cookie and a juice, and I eat them really quick, and then I want to go within, like, 5 minutes. And the dude's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, you just let that, like, 100-pound, 70-year-old lady leave. She stood here for 8 minutes. I stood here for 5. We all got to go for the same, like, amount of time here? That doesn't seem right.
I just imagined a cartoon of you with like your nipples getting sucked at, giving blood to your
Ew.
friends.
No. No. Vote nay. Vote nay. That's no. That's a no.
Why it gotta be the nipples?
Blood daddy.
Wait, that's your problem, Austin? Why the nipples? So you don't want to suck them on anything else? Oh my god, Austin. That's
can take
double
blood from
nay.
anywhere,
That's
man.
both double nay. Oh my god, I cannot believe. That's a freaking another level. Yeah, the nipples
Feed me
were
blood
fun.
daddy.
I am also the guy who like, I just like got a flu shot like accidentally. Like I was at the
You
pharmacy.
fall on it?
I was at the pharmacy getting. I only had like 15 minutes, but I was getting Kate iron pills because of the recently mentioned anemia. And then the lady there was just like, "Hey, like while you're here, you want to get your flu shot?" And I was like, "How long does it take?" And like, well, legally you're supposed to wait here for like 30 minutes after it happens. Again, I understand where you're at, medical science. I understand where you're coming from, but you're creating these issues for yourself that make it hard to get to herd immunity. And then I was like, yeah, hook me up. Like, you don't really need to stay here for 30 minutes. You could just pretend you did. And yeah, the dude just
How do you pretend you waited for a certain amount?
well,
of
it was in
time?
a grocery store basically. So
You just gotta get a certain look about you. Like I'm a 30-minute wait.
Yeah, I remember that. I was being sick. I was in the house, and then Ryan is like, "Oh yeah, so I got you the pill that you need. Also, I got flu shot." I'm like, "The fuck is wrong with my husband? Just goes out and get a shot." And just, where's my flu
It's
shot,
an
man?
impulse buy for him. It's just there.
was
Yeah, it's
free.
an impulse. When he sees like, oh, vaccine, heck yeah, put me on.
I honestly, like, if I went and they were like, we're gonna give you a vaccine for anything, I'd be like, why not? Hook me up.
That's crazy,
Doesn't
man.
bother me. As long as it's not like a dude in an alley that's like, hey, I got some like your measles, mumps, rubella vaccine back here. If it's the
That's
pharmacy
your
and they're
doctor.
like, do you want a free like vaccine? I'm like, absolutely.
free, too.
Give me the free
better.
Oh, it's
vaccine.
free here, yeah.
I had this memory of like in second grade we got a vaccine. I don't remember what it was for. It might have been the first like MMR vaccine, so that we're never good at Dota. And then we definitely like we all got brought into this room and we watched like Winnie the Pooh. And even then as a kid, I was like, Winnie the Pooh's stupid. Put on something like a little bit more erudite, please. Like now it's a Canadian treasure.
So
of course.
you
But-
don't question, oh, why were y'all brought up in this empty room? That's kind of scary. You go, Winnie the Pooh, give me more
It's
like
ben-
a classic
it's
of
beneath
Mickey the
us.
Mouse or something.
But like then we they brought us like one by one into this room and they gave us a shot. I don't know what the shot was, but my parents signed off on it. So it's probably not like some, X-Men stuff. And then like not only that, but they like took our fingerprints as well. Like
Yeah.
we dipped our fingerprints in ink and then like put them onto this page and there were like I don't think there were policemen there, but I think this is like where they get your fingerprints for when they people commit crimes. They're like, we got the fingerprint database from when you guys got your
Wow.
Your hepatitis
Here you
C
don't get
vaccine or
your
something.
fingerprint done until you committed a crime already.
No, they've gotten me. We took a field trip to.
They got you?
Yeah, they take you to a field trip to a police station when I was like in second grade, and they took everyone's fingerprints.
Oh god, now I'm remembering they did that to me too.
Oh no, you guys are on file, man.
Yeah,
You guys are on the record.
Well, have you not ever watched like
How did they steal your fingerprint?
have you not ever watched like Law and Order and they're like, oh, we dusted for fingerprints. They got to be able to find everyone, right?
Are there any cops in chat that can tell me if you guys stole my fingerprints?
Oh my God.
I don't so much care that you have them, but I want to know if you made it look like it was a fun activity for kids so you could get them. That part I don't like at all.
That's Black Mirror, man.
It's creepy.
That's the Black.
At least represent it properly. I'm a minor at the time. You can't take my shit without my information and without my parents' permission.
Yeah, but did I ever sign anything to give my parents the power to sign something? On
Yes,
my
it's when the
behalf?
parents have power of attorney.
But for us, it was health class, and it was the class where we're gonna learn how babies actually form. And
How is baby formed?
wait, hold on. So like, I didn't know what the form said, and then my mom is like, "What is this?" I'm like, it's the form that you have to sign. Apparently, they're gonna teach us how babies form. And then she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she just made it like it was nothing, and I thought it was just like nothing. I thought it was just like babies forming like a magical castle, and then just like soldiers bring out those babies over the night, and that's how you get the
Soldiers?
babies. But then they actually like told us everything. I got like really
Oh.
that was the time that I realized. I'm like, oh my god.
Did they make you watch that really hairy lady from the 70s give birth?
Oh, that was 9th grade for us. Yeah.
I think there's just one tape of that.
Infamous like Miracle of Life video where like the way I think it works differently in some parts of the country and the world, but like our semesters were split up, so like half of your friends would have biology class September to December, and then half of them would have it from like January to May or June or whatever.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging that she was hairy. It was notable.
It was the
She
sign of the times,
especially
man.
hairy.
Wait, how hairy? What? Where's
Wait, that's not
hair part?
relevant.
Like a huge
Where do you think?
big bush.
Yeah.
Hair?
Yeah.
Head?
In her birth canal region.
Oh, I see.
Her birth canal region.
I thought hairy as like maybe she got like armpit hair or something.
No, it was substantially more medically gross. But then, like your friends who had biology class, like September to January, were like, wait till you guys get to see that video. That's gonna change your life. But I think I told you guys we started health class in 5th grade.
5th grade?
But it was just like they were like, hey, you're gonna learn about it later. But like we're not gonna show you any pictures. But this is like how babies are made. Like when a man and woman like have sexual intercourse, that they can have a baby. And so when I was a kid,
I hate this hole, by the way.
we had this video that was like this dude explaining it, and he was like, yeah, a man has like a little thing that comes out of his body, and the woman has like a little thin little space to put the a little space to put that thing. So until they actually showed us pictures of like a naked female human, I thought that the vagina was just a penis that was hollow. And you just sort of holstered it up like a Chinese finger trap, and then did the dirty,
That makes
and
a
then
lot of sense, actually.
Oh, that's so scary.
Oh, that's
It's not
good.
too late to change our biology.
and then like a year later they showed us like diagrams, and I was like, oh, okay.
So they were teaching us about like different things, and then that class, that topic was condoms, and then she obviously brought like a banana, and then like, this is how you put the condoms on.
This
It was just, I was just
That-
like, oh, okay. But then she's like, but that's not all. It was like home shopping. It was just like, but that's not all. I'm gonna add this on top, and it was just like a condom. It's supposed to like smell like fruits, some kind of like grape. I don't know.
She
just
brought in a
name it.
flavored condom.
Yeah, and then she's like, and then she took it out of the wrap, and then she's like, pass it down. You know, like every time in high school, like, or not high school, in school, they just like pass it down person to person. You can smell it, and you can also taste it.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the kids taste the same condom?
So
That's fucking weird.
let's walk this through step by step. Bringing in a flavored condom,
Already weird there.
not necessarily too far.
Wait, I thought everyone did
But-
this.
but at
this
least
is actually crazy.
a very indulgent aside from the teacher.
I was gonna make a joke that they were gonna taste it, and then she said they actually.
Like, I thought everyone did this. Nobody did this.
No, this is.
Nobody did this.
See, there is no educational value to smelling a flavored condom. Much less tasting is actually deleterious because those places are already like hotbeds of germs. Like
Spread mono or something.
exactly. And then you're gonna say like, you know, I mean, I don't understand what the possible educational value could conceivably be at all. To be like, oh, they exist, and you know, some of them smell like cherries, and some of them smell like, you know, oranges. Okay, sure. You're like, I get it.
You can just say that.
To bring one in,
The idea.
to bring one in is a step in a direction
No,
that's a
this
little
is not
weird.
Korea. This is Canada, man. I only lived in Korea when I was like 6, until I was 6. So I don't really have much, like, you know, memory about Korea. But, so like, I still remember it because I thought it was really weird. But I thought it was just me thinking that was really weird. So when they were passing the flavored / scented condoms around, and then kind of like everyone was kind of like, you know, they were kids, they were curious, they were all sniffing. And I was just like,
You know
like,
how
this
kids
is
are
really
these
weird.
days.
Like I thought that was really weird, so I just passed it. I didn't smell or anything. But then this lady, or not lady, like you know, one of the girl in the class, she kind of like tasted it, and then she's like, "Whoa, guys, like this tastes like cherry. That's so cool." And then she chewed it like gum.
What?
This is actually.
Is this real? Is this a real thing?
No, I was like, I was
Did they have
wondering.
after she chewed it? Did she spit it out and give it to the next person?
No, I think everyone had their own, or like the row. Like we had
Okay,
row.
okay, that's
It
not
wasn't like
bad.
30 people.
It's still very
It's so
bad,
ridiculous. Yeah.
but as long as it's not one for like the whole class.
No.
But there's still other people in that row. And she
I
took
guess
it out of her
I
mouth?
think she was the like last one.
Okay.
So she was, you know, she's not gonna spit it out, and then someone's gonna like chew it again or something. But I remember like I remember exactly. She was like, "Oh whoa, like this actually tastes like strawberry."
I want to
And
know
then I
what that
think-
lady's doing now. Because that seems like one of those things that, like, it's a red flag. Like, if you're a kid and you see that, you go, oh, she's so weird. If you're a teacher and you see that and you go, I know where you're going to be in a few years.
I was just thinking if you're going to try to, you know, using some fruit or vegetable represent the male genitalia, you probably don't want one with a huge curve in it.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking,
mean,
like, why don't they get one that's like a butternut squash with a watermelon at the end of it? You know what I mean?
Only one?
Why don't they get one that's like a durian with 2 pineapples on the bottom? Hey, P is for penis.
Is that good enough for you?
That's good enough for you.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I have an anecdote. I was at the bar. We were paying the tab. I was paying the tab, and I walked up, and there's a dude there who's like the drunkest dude I've ever seen in my life, and he has a date with him. I can't remember. Oh, here's how it happened. So I walked up to pay the tab. There were like 3 people in the entire place, so 3 groups at least. And I was like, hey, I'm here to pay my tab. And the bartender says, well, what's the last name? And I go, Laterno. And he goes, okay. And then his lady friend goes, hey, do you know blank Laterno? And I was like, nah, I do not know blank Laterno, but thank you for asking. And then we had a very pleasant, like less than 10-second long conversation. And her date goes, yeah, well, that's what you get for arguing with a feminist. Am I right, buddy? And then I said,
What?
I said, something along the lines of, I don't really know what you're talking about. And he said, yeah, that's the way I handle it too. And I said, you know, sounds like things are a little too tense over here. Too tense for me to get involved in. Bartender comes back with the credit card and says, hey, it's just about the smartest goddamn thing I heard all night. And then the dude starts to like needle me, and he's like, hey, so what are you in Boston for? Like, that's not an American name. What are you in Boston for? And I was like, oh, I'm here for PAX. And then out of nowhere, the dude just starts talking to me about programming. And he's like, yeah, you know, I'm a programmer. And like what he said was not just because he was employed as a programmer, so he's a better programmer than I am. But what he said was not stupid because I didn't understand it. It's stupid because he was actually out of his mind. He's like, yeah, you know, I really like see, JavaScript's really cool because JavaScript is like the new Esperanto and Python is like powerful, but like Esperanto, and it's like, what is this dude doing? I just want to get out of this place. And then my friend came over to save me. So now I know what it's like to be, I guess, like a woman at a club. He came over to save me and was like, hey, our Uber's here. And then the guy was like, are you a software developer too? And then my friend, knowing that I'm a little bit of a geek about programming right now, was like, oh, never mind, I'll leave you to it. Because he thought that I started the conversation. And I was like, no, actually, we gotta go. So that was the anecdote there.
What an odyssey. Yeah. There's like absolutely no correlation between what he said and why he said it, right?
There's zero at all. Like, he might as well have just been like, a stupid bitch. Of course he doesn't know him. He's a software engineer.
To say stupid bitch for no reason. I think we really, really don't give enough credit for humility in the world.
Yeah, man.
I agree.
Like, when I was in that restaurant, I was like, I could buy and sell you guys 10 times. But of course I'm not... of course I'm not going to tell you that. That would be a dick move. Which is, secondarily, why you never argue with a feminist.
God, I have like a little story about the flight that I took home, but it's a little, I don't want to say incriminating, but it makes me look like a dick a little bit.
Okay, what happened?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I was sitting next to a businessman, and he was, writing emails and...
Could have just been a Twitch streamer wearing a blazer. It does happen.
He was the most... He was a dad businessman. Because his...
Was he on a phone call?
No, he was... Well, this is where it gets a little like, I'm kind of a dick, but... So to make it seem like less like I was a dick, we were landing and he was writing a text message conversation with one of his business men, and he was like an old guy who has learned to use a phone but still has to hold it out in front of him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was basically holding it out in front of him, directly in front of me, being like, "Hey, unless you physically turn away from the direction you're facing, you're gonna be reading this conversation."
Yeah.
So I was like, to read this conversation. He's kind of forcing me to here. And I began to learn a lot about this man as I read this conversation, because he was like, he had written the conversation between two guys. We'll call them Bill and Jeff.
No, Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted.
Okay, Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, Bill and Ted, I just landed. I'll be at the restaurant in, when I get out of here and start driving there. But then he pulls up his phone. He looks up the place of the restaurant, and it sits in Plano, which is like 40 minutes away from the airport. And then he pulls up Bill and Ted. He starts writing, and he like kind of like stops, and he pulls up just Bill. He pulls up just Bill on the thing.
Bill.
And he's like, Bill.
Goes Ted.
this guy, he picked a restaurant that's 40 minutes away. I mean, he didn't say, he was like an hour away from the airport. It's nowhere close. I thought he knew where I was flying into. And he's typing like really mad. Like you could tell he was like not happy. And he then he looks up his hotel, and this is where I start to get like a little suspicious, because he looks up his hotel. His hotel's in Plano too, so the hotel's right next to the restaurant. And he keeps texting this guy, so now he's like kind of too far into it, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, man, I can't do this. I can't make this restaurant. It's not gonna work. But then the guy was like, before he said that, the guy was like, look, man, this apparently is a really nice restaurant. It's almost impossible to get into these reservations. Like, I tried to get in with my wife one time, and it just wasn't happening. So we should probably go to this. And the guy, and then he said, no, I just can't do it, man. I had this meeting right before the plane flight. It ain't gonna happen. It just won't work. And I was like, man, you got this nice restaurant literally right next to your hotel, and you're kind of lying that it's so far away. Why don't you just go to the restaurant? It seems like a nice deal.
So you stole his reservation at the restaurant?
Exactly. No, I didn't even know where the restaurant was.
You said Ted, party of 3?
And the reason I have such specific detail of this restaurant is because, like I said, the guy was holding the phone like out in front of him, like against like the seat. Literally like he was like pointing at my direction. And I was like,
did he put his glasses at the end of his nose to read?
No, he didn't have glasses.
Oh,
I'm trying to remember the other thing that he said. He was like, oh yeah, he's like, I don't know about this guy, Bill. I don't know about this Ted character. And then Bill replied like, yeah, man, I don't know. He's kind of like not replying to my text either. And I was like, man, this guy, the guy he was talking to, Bill, was starting to like kind of pony up to him and be like, oh, if you can't go, you can't go, man. So I'm assuming the guy next to me was more important than Bill was, because Bill started to suck up to the guy.
Right. So it's either that or they were friends maybe, or knew each other better.
Well, no, he was like, hey, we talk about the proposal when I get there. I don't think friends talk about proposals.
Well, people have friendships
like a
within
marriage
office
proposal.
relationships.
I don't know. But I didn't like the guy because he was like kind of playing it up like he was all tired. He didn't look tired to me.
He bailed on Ted?
He bailed on Ted.
Well, here's the question.
Very fancy restaurant that Ted had to work hard to get reservations for.
Did he have any alcoholic beverages during the flight?
No.
Okay.
He just kind of sat there. Oh, there was a funny moment where, so we had like TV channels on our thing, and I noticed that I was scrolling through towards like the last hour of the flight once the first movie had ended, and I saw CNN was doing a story about the whole healthcare situation. Not that we have to get into it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I turned it on, and I was like, it was like one of the bigger headlines yesterday that the CBO report. For the healthcare thing. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I guess I'll watch this. And he kind of looks at my TV screen, and he kind of like looks at me, and then he flips his channel to the CNN TV screen. But then after about 10 minutes of the report, he flips it over to Fox News. As opposed to CNN, and I was like,
there's
oh, no.
so much implied information from everything.
I know, like, oh, is he trying to like send me like a message here, or is he just really
like, I'm on
the other side of things?
You fucking
But then
bitch.
it was hilarious because the story that was on Fox News wasn't the CBO report. They were talking about Snoop Dogg's new song.
And how he shot that
shoots,
clown.
Yeah, shoots the clown.
This is actually like the worst story of all time. But it was told really well, and that disguised the fact that nothing almost happened during the entire thing.
I feel like I got a lot of info on a guy without talking to him.
And that's why you never argue with a feminist.
I don't want to interrupt,
Yep.
but can we do the big T with random, please?
Yeah.
Like last year, I was on a flight, and the lady behind me was like a middle-aged woman who was flying solo, and then there was a younger woman, maybe like college age, that was sitting next to her, and they started talking, and they were both students because the older lady was like doing night classes, and then they clearly bought into the contract of this conversation, like we are both scientifically, like academically minded individuals. So the older lady was like, "What are you studying?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm in like pre-med and blah blah blah." She's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like I do something similar. Like I'm in this program, which I don't remember the name of, at like this religious college. So we're learning about like healing through prayer." And I just felt all And I'm saying this without any judgment whatsoever until a point that is very pivotal. It comes up in about a minute and a half here. I say this without any judgment at all for now, and that you just felt the energy go out of the conversation, and the pre-med girl was like, oh, that's cool. See, you know, like, you gotta have a balanced approach to medicine, etc., etc. Later on, the middle-aged woman said, yeah, like, there was one time, I don't understand why people didn't hear about it on the news, but we did, like, a prayer circle for this lady, and one of her legs was 6 inches shorter than the other one, and we all just got around her and started to pray, and we prayed really hard, and I swear to God, her leg just, like snapped forward and became the same size as the other one. Now, I consider myself a tolerant individual who, you know, whatever you want to believe is fine, but are you trying to tell me that you actually prayed this lady's leg 6 inches longer in the space of like 2 minutes?
Yeah, no, normally that takes 15 minutes.
Well, normally there's a sleep, right? There's a sleep, and then you wake up later, and you're like, I feel like my leg's longer, and you're like, we did it! She was like, in front of my very eyes. Like, so you could not possibly dispute it. Her leg grew 6 inches with God as my witness. And I was like, yeah, you know, I can't believe that wasn't on the news either. Because,
Her
you know,
leg grew 3 sizes that day.
I would just about believe that that would be probably the most significant news story in human existence. There was about a second where I was like, she must be...
Excuse me, I have 29, and
Well,
you have 32 to go.
But I was like,
I'm
you know,
supposed to be number 1.
she must be valedictorian. Because if she can do that, if she's getting like C's, I want to meet the dude who's getting A's. Because
Right.
he could do some like Doctor Strange shit or something. But then, yeah, the other lady was like, yeah, you know, like, well, I gotta like work on my lab report, so have a nice flight. Lady who thinks that she prayed someone's leg 6 inches longer, like...
Do you think if she prays hard enough, her husband's penis will get 6 inches longer?
She's then why do you think she's in school?
It's like a different category, and if you pray hard enough, something grows 6 inches.
What if
6
it's just
inches
random?
around.
Like, you don't know what's gonna grow 6 inches, but it could be anything.
Well, I started to think, like, what if, you know, we all agree, or at least most people should agree, about the conservation of matter, you know? Matter is not created or destroyed, it's merely transformed from one form to the other. So I gotta wonder, where do those 6 inches come from? Somebody was just, like, walking down the street, and then all of a sudden they fell over.
That time
What
when
if it
somebody
came
ripped
from
their
that
tick clean
person's
off.
dick? Would you trade 6 inch of your dick
There
for
we go.
the 6 inch of your leg?
One leg or equal?
Yeah,
Yeah, one.
It gotta be one
would you...
leg.
No, then that's an easy no.
I can't play this game mode. I'm so bad.
But if it's both of legs, you would do so?
No, I don't think I would do that either, but at least you're like, okay, I'm getting something out of it. Like, you're getting 6 inches taller, which is generally considered a good thing most of the time, unless you're Austin, in which case that would put you out of tall range and maybe into, like,
But would Austin
how's the
be
weather
the
up there
only
range, you know?
You know, would you trade your 6 inch leg for a 6 inch dick?
One leg?
One leg?
6 inch
Bo-
leg?
Both.
Both? I mean, that seems like a pretty alright deal to me.
Be 5'8" with a 2-foot long dick.
Like,
It sounds like a Subway commercial.
Big
Use
feet,
it.
big
Yeah, my
meat. Effectively, your penis would grow along with your leg. I don't think that's true. I'm gonna put you in the same camp as lady who prayed someone's leg longer. I don't think if your legs grew, your penis would necessarily grow at the same time.
I don't think that's how that works, yeah.
Maybe you could pray hard enough to extract that little bit of extra phallus that goes into your abdomen.
I kind of like it in there.
Yeah.
Because then I know, like, that's like my emergency fund. Like, if I ever...
Something happens to the outside, you got a little bit tucked away.
If
from
I
you.
ever need more, it's right there. Like, if I lost everything, I could, like, reach
You'd
deep
at
in there
least
and be
a
like,
2
oh.
inch.
I'd be like, thank God. At least I got something in here, right?
I don't even. What did you talk away?
He
Pardon?
tucks away a little bit of extra phallus up in
Oh,
there.
yeah. Kate, you might not be aware that, you know, it might be hard to believe, but when you see a penis, that's actually only, like, maybe 50% of the actual penis size. Like, the rest of the penis is anchored inside of the abdomen. Like, it's internal.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to give you a fact that you asked me a specific question about.
If it's just that, then you know I'm good.
All right.
I did a sandwich place at Logan that did one very tiny little thing that was extremely insignificant, but it threw me so off that I froze for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But I was up, it was like Potbelly's or something, and she was like, do you want the, or what size sandwich do you want? And I go, I'd like I'll take a large. And she's like, you mean the big?
What? Mike and I have a mutual friend who got really, really mad at Subway because he ordered like half chicken bacon ranch or something and then half cold cut combo. And then he got mad that they charged him for a full sub of the more expensive kind. And we were like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, they should scale it based on how much of the sub is a premium sub and how much of it is a classic. But Austin, what'd you get at the Mexican place we went to?
I got tacos, chicken, I believe.
Yeah. What did Rob get?
He got empanadas.
What did I get?
You got chicken tacos too?
Yeah.
Did you guys go to the same place we went with Mike Bithell that time?
We did indeed.
That place is good.
It was pretty decent. What did Kate get?
Fish tacos.
Okay, here's the number one
Oh,
question.
I had those. Those were great.
What did Mathis get?
Oh, he was at the other end of the table. I didn't see.
Applesauce.
He
Oh,
got,
did he get a burger?
he got a hamburger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why would you get a hamburger at a Mexican place?
You know, that dawned on me about 2 seconds
weird.
after he ordered it. I was like, it was really good.
Maybe
Hey girl,
it's
you're just
Boston,
lining up
man.
for the bathroom, huh? You gotta take a shit or something? I like this dude who picks up ladies with context-based clues surrounding him. Like that, I like that guy.
Nice.
I think you have to get good at rebuking that kind of thing, though,
Yeah.
because, like, when he asked you, like, so what are you doing tonight? I was like, well, I just told you I'm going to the concert.
Hell yeah, exactly.
Like, just get that kind of tone, and then they'll probably fuck off.
Say, listen here, you little bitch.
Yeah. Yeah,
nice
open up with
little-
one of
If
those.
you learn how to keep your mouth shut, there's a nice little Abraham waiting for you at the end of this ride.
What does that even mean?
An Abraham is a $20 bill in America.
Oh,
Wait, is it?
Lincoln's 5.
Well, you know, the dollar's pretty weak these days, so I'm not looking to break the bank.